Come on in. Good morning. I hope that y'all are well. Happy Feminine Friday. So come on in, come on in. Put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly. I love it. I love a great morning. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Y'all know why I get my hands together because y'all know I have to put some oil on my hands before I get started. The oil that I'm putting on today is amaranth oil onto my hands. I'm almost out too, so I need to like get more. As you know, like I'm an oil girl, honey. I am an oil girl. It does what it needs to do. Thank you, love. I feel like playing with some color today, pulling out my old tricks and things from when I was working at MAC. The name of this oil, ooh, it's amaranth oil. It's probably gonna show it backwards, but amaranth oil. And I absolutely love it. It's enriched with apricot oil and sweet almond oil. So I love it. Love, love, love. Because, girl, I can't do no my hands not having oil on them. And then, too, there's so many ways to preserve, like, skin. And I went to esthetician school. I've lived so many lives. At one point, I went to esthetician school. So I learned a lot of things about skin and how skin is the largest organ, really, within the body. And diet, oh my God. I cannot stress enough about diet when it comes down to skin. I'm just being honest. I'm 42 years old. So like when I tell you and I wear makeup, I enjoy makeup just because I like it, right? But makeup can't cover up like texture and like what's really going on with your skin, so it's gonna tell on you. So I really love being able to apply makeup and it looks very clean, very sleek, and I don't have to put a whole lot on because my skin is doing what it needs to do. So, and now that a lot of that has to do with your diet. A lot of women don't realize, I wasn't even gonna talk about that part, but a lot of women don't realize like when you're getting acne a lot of times, it's an external reaction to what is happening on the inside of your body. And I don't want to be so graphic, but just being honest, it's kind of like your body is going to the bathroom on your face. Your insides, that's what's happening. And so you have to deal with that. A lot of us are not eating enough fiber. We're not releasing things, so things are showing up. Okay. So yeah, it's just this, especially as you age, you want to take care of your skin. And I'm so serious. I want to be 60 and my skin is still what it needs to be. So I definitely am going to be oiling my hands, oiling my body, just trust me, drinking my water and eating the things that I need to be eating. Okay? Because you want to not only feel good, you want to look good. You know, you look good, you feel good, you take care of yourself, especially when you start aging. And because I'm 42, I am working in preventative. I'm trying to make sure my 60s are good if the Most High spares my life. I want to make sure that my 80s are good. And so all these things kind of matter right now, what I'm doing right now. Strength training, taking care of my skin, taking care of myself, not letting nobody stress me out. Okay? I'm not letting nobody stress me out, because this is what we're really getting into today. So today we're going to be talking about how you can go from statue to flow, okay? Why you can't turn it off and how to get back in your body. This is what we're going to be talking about today. So for those who do not know who I am, my name is Elle Antoinette. I'm a psychological identity strategist, and what I do specifically is I help high capacity women build the necessary internal stability required to hold power, to hold money, to hold leadership, and relationships like love, without self-destructing. We tend to be able to attract these things. And I really want y'all to come out of that. Like, you're always attracting. So stop worrying about attraction. You need to change your frequency so you can shift what you're attracting, but you don't need to focus on attraction. Okay? You want to focus on sustainability. Because it's one thing to get a relationship, but to sustain a relationship is different. And I'm not just talking about romance. It's one thing to be able to get cool with people, but it's a different thing to be able to have these type of people in your core, in your community. Okay, so these things are very, very important. We're talking about sustainability here. So in order for you to be able to sustain whatever it is that you're wanting to keep in your existence, you're going to have to be in your body. I've been telling y'all from the beginning, since January 1, or since the first time I went live, that this is the year 2026 of embodiment or exposure. You're either going to step into the fullness of who you're supposed to be, or you're going to be exposed for the fraud that you are. And it's not just happening at celebrity level, it's happening at every level. It's calling for more from you. The more of you that you are sitting on, the more of you that you are ignoring. And it's not even asking you to do more, because let me tell you something. Y'all see how easy it is to get money? People do a lot of talking about money. It's so easy to be able to get money. All you got to do is get on this app and sell out your soul to entertain people. Much like the celebrities, because that's why there's no hierarchy anymore when it comes down to celebrities, because it's so easy to be able to achieve surface level fame. It's so easy to be able to sell your soul and get money. So people are not interested in getting money anymore. People are not interested in how to attract certain things anymore. People want to know how to sustain things. And in order to sustain something, that's where you're going to have to be real. And see, when women are ready to be real, they come see me. When women are ready to be real, they come see me. When they're ready to do mirror work, they come see me. Because the thing is, y'all spending too much time in the shadows. Like shadow work is the only work that you're going to be required to do. No, sweet loving. Out of the shadows, you must come into the light. And in order for you to come into the light fully, you must allow yourself to be seen. This requires you to have to look for real at your reflections. And a lot of your reflections are the relationships that you have with everything else outside of yourself. The way your money comes and flows to you, or sticks to you, or runs away from you is a part of a reflection in your mirror. The type of men that you entertain is a reflection of your mirror. The friends that you just hold such high regard for are reflections of your mirror. So if you find yourself in a state where you lack joy and you are consistently unhappy, then one has to take a look in the mirror. And that requires you to come out of the shadows. Okay? And so when women want to come out of the shadows, they come to see me. Because much like, and I talked about this a little bit the other day when I went live on Wednesday, one of my favorite villains is Bane from The Dark Knight. And I love when he says like, oh, you think darkness is your ally. I was born in the dark, molded by it. You understand? So being in the dark is not where you need to be. It's about coming into the light and allowing the light to expose the truth of who you are. But it's because it's only in the light that you're going to be able to sustain the things that you want. Only when you are in an enlightened state. Only when you are in a state of spiritual fruit, love, peace, joy. It's not a coincidence that these things sit at the top. Peace, that sit at the top of the vibrational state. The vibrational scale. Because when you are in those spaces, the things that you magnetize into your life, you can actually sustain because you did it from the proper intentions. Because the core truth is, if you have not done your work, if you have not really come out of the shadows, you still cannot trust your heart. This is why y'all can do all the shadow work and none of these things still seem to hit. Because you can do all of this work in the darkness, but when it's time for you to really be seen, you're afraid of being exposed. You're afraid of being exposed. So women hide. So the work that I do is that when these women come to me, I help you build the internal infrastructure to be able to sustain the power that you are asking for. Thank you, my love, for being here. And thank you for the follow. And thank you for these likes. I help you sustain the energy that matches somebody who makes 6 figures consistently going into $1 million. The 3 results that women get when they come to work with me is women make more money. Yes. Women get healthier. Yes. And women have better relationships with the masculine. And they're able to sustain healthy relationships with the feminine because they understand the importance of the feminine. They don't abandon the feminine community just because they got a pulsation in their cat. You understand? These women are very clear on the importance of having feminine community, because nobody understands the walk that you are walking, especially when you are in alignment like another woman like you. So all of this, oh, I don't relate to women, I don't do this, do your work and your community will find you. Your tribe will find, I guarantee your tribe will find you. Invest in things that make you better. Your community will find you. A lot of you like to listen to the story about Ruth and Boaz, but Ruth was minding her business, working on herself. You understand? When he went looking for her, she was by herself doing her work when he came looking for her. You are always supposed to be focused on you being the best version of yourself. And you can't do that pretending to be a statue. Now, don't get me twisted. I understand that a lot of us, we've had to grasp or take on this statuesque identity when we were children, because we grew up in scenarios that weren't sweet, they weren't friendly. But those environments that raised us made us amazing achievers because we wanted to get the hell out of there. So it made us amazing achievers, and we've gone on and we've done great things and we've made the money and we've done this and we've done that, but we still aren't seen. Why is that? Because you have yet to expose yourself to yourself. And what I'm going to do for you in this life is I'm going to expose you to yourself. Not from a place of judgment, from a place of love, from a place of understanding, from a place of you don't have as much time as you think you have, playing around, not stepping into the fullness of where you know you should be. This year is going to expose you. You can't keep wearing this identity that you created to survive. A lot of women are going to face an initiation this year in the form of a crossroad. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Y'all, I want to get this live to 20,000. Okay, so if you are getting value, please return value. Thank you for these gifts. In 2026, a lot of women are going to hit a crossroad. And that crossroad is an initiation. And you either pass or you fail initiations. There is no C. There is only a pass or a fail. And that is going, at that crossroad, you are going to have to make a decision. That decision is going to hurt some people, but that decision is going to save you. That decision is going to position you to thrive. Okay? So I need you to understand that, and I need you to grasp that. You don't have the time you think you have. When you are met with that crossroad in that initiation space, you are to make the decision that you need to make. But the decision that you make is going to shift your entire life. Choose well. Choose well. But understand, if you always are choosing your spiritual health, your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, you are always choosing well. But that has to be prioritized. So we're going to talk about, like I said, from statue to flow, why you can't seem to turn it off, and how to get back in your body. Because a lot of you are too much in your mind. Little Miss Overthinker, Little Miss Overanalyzer, like you're too much in here and not in here, which is why you're not getting the desires of your heart. In order for you to get the desires of your heart, baby, you're going to have to be in your body. And see, you ain't been in your body for a long time. A lot of y'all on autopilot. A lot of you are disconnected from your core, and you're trying to figure out why things are not working the way that you believe that they should be working. Okay? And we're going to get into that. So again, My name is Elle Antoinette. I'm a psychological identity strategist, and I help high capacity women build the internal stability necessary for them to be able to hold power, hold money, hold leadership, hold love without self-destructing. Because we tend to struggle in this society as women to hold these things without self-destructing. And that's because we go after these things with a false identity. And you do that when you don't know yourself. See, people pleasing is a false identity. Code switching is a false identity. The scripture tells you, oh, everything I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. I'm a nerd. I like dissecting formulas in scripture and having science back those things up, and then coming back and showing you how to be able to put these things in your body so that you can thrive as a woman. Because if you don't know these things and you don't know yourself, you will not thrive here. You will always be under the thumb of somebody else's opinion or identity or criticism of who they think that you are, and you will come under that spell. A lot of women are under spells. I've never seen a generation so eager and so quick to practice witchcraft, but then also not realizing how much you're under a spell yourself. And how is it you think that you're going to be able to hold any form of power? Whether it be the power of the dark, which I don't recommend, or the power that the one that created you gives you. You're not going to be able to sustain or hold any power when you lack stability. See, this is why you can't get caught up in people when they be talking about they're doing all these things spiritually. Let me tell you something. An unstable vessel can't hold power. An unstable vessel cannot hold power. That's what you got to understand. There's too many cracks in it. Whatever is in it is going to leak out. That's not the way this works. This is why it says in scripture, to whom much is given, much is required. You think you're unstable. This, like, y'all gotta really, y'all ain't been reading for real. See, you allow the traditions and the traditional church to tell you things that you can go and read for yourself. The scripture is a code. It's a book of codes that when you activate them, you come out of the matrix because you see things as they are. So you realize you don't have to be a slave to make money. You don't have to be a slave to be in love. You don't have to be a slave to live on this planet. That's not something that you have to do. But when you lack spiritual rooting, systems were created for people who lack the spiritual rooting to understand who they really are, because they needed a master so they could deliver on their new world order. I'm not going to explain that, so I hope you caught that. See, they need the new slaves to build. You understand? So hopefully this wakes y'all up, because I ain't going to go too far into that because they're going to ban me. That's going to be from my community. So basically what I teach is emotional and energetic sovereignty in a world that is addicted to performance, dependence, and also false freedom. Okay. So what we're going to talk about today is like how you can turn this off and get back into your body. Well, welcome, darling. Okay. All right. So happy Feminine Friday, first and foremost. I go live on Wednesdays for Wisdom Wednesdays and Feminine Fridays. So this is where you can catch me. If you are subscribed, if you are a high capacity woman leader, then you can subscribe to my podcast that's on Substack. If you love Substack and you love to read, I have an amazing Substack over there where I drop a lot of knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and different things like that I probably am not going to talk on here about. There is a free version and a paid version. I have YouTube. I have all those things. So if you want to keep up with me, you can click the link in the bio to get access to all of those things, okay? All right. So anyway, happy Feminine Friday. Thank y'all so much for the follows, and thank y'all for being here. All I ask is that if you receive value, to give value in the form of likes. My goal is to get the live to 20,000, okay? So that is my goal on today. And so I ask that you either like or you share value. Because what we do over here is a house rule is we believe in the principle of abundance, and we also believe in sowing and reaping. And the law of sowing and reaping basically says whatever you sow, that's what you're going to reap. So if you sow value into someone else, value has no choice by law by law to return value to you in some form. Does not mean it's going to come from that individual. No, you have, hey, Lovey, I just got on here. Whether it doesn't mean you're going to get it from that individual. You may actually get it from something else random. You understand? So that's the principle over here. That's one of the things that we value in this space is sowing and reaping. Because we understand that spiritual law is the program. Like over the entire existence, spiritual law is the program. You can't violate spiritual law. When it comes down to the earth, you can't outdo natural law or scientific law. When it comes down to your body, okay? Thank you for dropping another 5 video for your paid YouTube subscribers. Thank you. I'm so glad you love it. Listen, I'm dropping more of those this year. Like I'm dropping a lot of like heavy different things behind like for my YouTube subscribers. So just stay tuned, the paid ones, okay? Well, I lost my train of thought. What's the last thing I said, y'all? Help me pull it back because I feel like I needed to say that. And then I'm going to get back into this. Okay, so yes, spiritual law governs everything, including the universe, okay? To me, and based on my study, the universe is an algorithm. It's an algorithm that basically is the ultimate algorithm, is the ultimate responder. It responds to our energy, our thoughts, our actions, you know, and all of those things. So whatever you put into that space, it is going to be returned to you because everything in this world cycles and circles, okay? And so what does not happen? Spiritual law is not violated. I don't care what's going on. You are not a bit above the program. You are not going to be able to outwit, outsmart, do anything when it comes down to spiritual law. Point blank, period, the end. When we come down to natural law, the reason why the earth is out of balance is because there have been several violations of natural law. An example of natural law violation is for the way some societies have dug up the female trees. The reason why you are seeing all the pollen and different things like that, you know, when it comes to springtime, it seems like it's a whole lot more, way more than we were kids. I was a 90s kid. The reason why is because there are no female trees. And the female trees were dug up for a reason. So when you disrupt natural order, it throws things out of balance. Now let's talk about the body. Your nervous system is the program. Okay? Let me help y'all out. Your nervous system is the program of your body. Spiritual law is the program of this universe and the governance of everything here. The earth, natural law. And when it comes down to your body, your nervous system is the program. And this is where y'all begin life mixed up, okay? Because you're not caring for your nervous system. You're doing everything else but caring for your nervous system. And so we're going to talk about this today. So let's talk about why a lot of you feel like statues. Okay, you've mastered boss energy. You've mastered how to execute. You can lead. You can grind. But when your laptop closes, your body doesn't close. So your mind is still on. You're still vibrating. At the same level you were, at the same anxious state that you were when you were on that computer, you were still vibrating at that state. You are tight. You are rigid because of it. Okay? You're waiting for something to go wrong. You're just waiting for the next anvil to drop. See, that's a very like, we preparing for the next thing. But let me tell you something. You didn't become strong. That's not what happened. I know a lot of people think, oh, you become strong. You didn't become strong because of all of the things that you endured and that you went through during childhood and even in adulthood. A lot of you became biologically stuck at a high alert mode. A lot of you have become stuck at a biological, okay, or biologically stuck in a mode titled high alert. So you are extremely hypervigilant. This is why you don't trust nobody. This is why you are always watching every existence. This is why when somebody even tells you something good, you cannot take it because you cannot receive that. This is all because your nervous system is shot. Your nervous system has been trained for nothing but negativity and letdown, and that is what you expect. That is what you expect. And that is what you receive because that is the energy that your nervous system can only handle, because if you put something positive in it, it rejects it. Much like you reject that compliment that person gives you when you say, oh girl, I really look a mess. They tell you look beautiful. You talking about you look a mess, or you don't feel comfortable. So you throw the compliment off by trying to hurry up and compliment them back. You ain't even look at them to see if they really look nice. Just lying. Just lying. Excuse me. Just out here lying. Just trying to be nice. A lot of y'all with the being nice is the lie. I need y'all to understand something. Kindness is a heart posture. I'm not a nice woman. You will never hear anyone tell you that knows me for real tell you I am a nice woman. I am not a nice woman. I am a very kind woman. I'm a very warm woman, but I'm not a nice woman. Kindness is a heart posture. You understand? To be nice is a state of being. And let me tell y'all how, and the people who always screaming, I'm just so nice. I've never met a nice person that wasn't really nasty. I have not met a nice person who was not really nasty. And let me tell you what that looks like. When you say good morning to somebody, I was raised in the South. A lot of Southerners get offended when you don't say hello back. If I wake up and I say good morning or whatever the case may be, or how you doing, and this person doesn't say anything back to you, a lot of people will say things like, well, I was just trying to be nice. Were you trying to be nice, or were you trying to receive something back? And when you didn't get what you thought that you should have gotten back, you revealed how nasty you can get when you don't get your way. When things don't go your way, you are exposing the wound of really who you are. Because guess what? A lot of people don't like, a lot of people scream about free will until it's not in your benefit. That person has the free will to not speak to you. That person has the free will to not text you back. That person has the free will to not speak to you again. We have become so entitled to believing that people owe us something when they don't owe you nothing. You owe yourself. See, this is where we get real confused. You owe yourself. Okay? You are stuck. Nice is always performative. I know that's right. You are stuck in high alert mode. You are biologically stuck there. You couldn't stop if you wanted to, sweetheart, because you don't know how. I don't know why I act like that. I know better, because awareness is not enough. Awareness is not enough. Awareness is not enough. Awareness has never changed anyone's life. It's the action that's taken after awareness that activates something so you can ascend from that experience or from that state. Okay? So if you are in a space where you get so anxious where you can't even drop your shoulders. Some of you, and let me tell you something, I can't tell, a woman made a post on Facebook, and she was saying how, do women even switch anymore? Like, what happened to the sway of the hips? What happened to the sway of the hips, right? What happened to a woman like walking in the fullness of her essence? And let me tell you what that is. A lot of women don't even realize how they're walking. Let's have this conversation real quick, because I'm really finna blow your mind with this other piece I'm gonna say, but let's start here. A lot of women don't even realize how they're walking. They don't realize that a lot of them are walking discomfort. They look like walking discomfort. I'm talking about shoulders up high, hunched. The anxiousness and the tension sitting in your shoulders to the point where you can't even relax when you are walking. So many women in a rush, running, doing this, doing that, looking exhausted. No sway of the hips. Hi, Lovey. Let me tell you something that I found out and I realized when I started strength training, right? Because I used to be 100 pounds heavy. When I started strength training my body, I realized that I had been walking wrong for years. I had been walking wrong for years. Like when I hated tennis shoes, and I would get tennis shoes, and my tennis shoes, because of the way I would stand, I realized they would lean because of the way I would stand. And this is before I had even gained weight. This is why I was heavier. I just couldn't figure this out. It was the way I was standing. When I started to lift and do strength training, it corrected my posture. And when my posture got corrected, I started to walk different. And when I started building my glutes, see, y'all in the gym trying to build glutes to be cute when you don't realize you need glutes to be able to walk. You need glute muscles if you fall so you don't break your hip when you're 60. You need them because you are losing 8% muscle mass every single year after you turn, every single decade after you turn 40. When I begin to reshape and recomp my body, I noticed that I began to walk in a figure 8. Naturally, I just started walking in a figure 8, and I felt it different. And I began to do the research, and the research let me know that my gait had changed. G-A-I-T had changed. It had shifted to proper balance. I had been walking in balance for so long, which was causing me issues with shoes. And let me tell you something. I had gotten all the way, and I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. So my body, I had an overload of testosterone, insulin resistance, and my body started to form. I had became an inverted triangle. Now I'm an hourglass. My body had completely shifted into a masculine space. And guess what? During that time, I was overworking. I was overexhausted. I'm the oldest daughter. I'm the first one in the family to go to college. I'm the first one in the family to get a master's. I'm the first one in the family to start a business. I'm the first one to become a multi-six-figure business owner. So I had it was a lot of stress. Those last couple of things are newer for me, but it was a lot of stress. I was so stressed in my body that my body started to form differently, to the point to where I didn't realize I had not been walking properly. So when I tell you stress morphs your body, I'm not even kidding around. Stress is why you're holding on to weight, specifically in your back area. Like, I started looking this stuff up. Like, and this is the one with the back area is something I just realized this year because I'm adding something else and doing different. My goal is to be strong, never skinny, but strong. Strong. Because if something happens, people have to understand that your health is your wealth. And people also have to understand, okay, that whatever is happening spiritually is going to manifest physically. Most illnesses have some form of a spiritual root to it. Look into that. Look into that. Because your stress can shift your body so badly. So badly. You can shift it by cycle syncing. I have something in my bio called The Physics of Rhythm. You can click the link in the bio to get more information about that, where it teaches you how to get in sync with your cycle. It teaches you how you operate, and so you can start executing the way you should according to your feminine rhythm. Okay? So you're gonna have to correct your posture. You're going to have to work on correcting your posture. And everybody's body is different. Like I said, I had gained a bunch of weight and I had become a inverted triangle. And I just thought that was my shape. Oh, that's my shape. But then I started actually lifting and strength training and working out and doing cardio and doing a bit of Pilates with that as well. And I realized I actually don't have that. It's just I didn't have the muscle. And here's another thing. Last July, I slipped and fell in the shower so bad and sprained my ankle really bad. It was a bad sprain. I had been lifting and stuff like that probably for at that time, maybe almost 6 or 7 or 8 months. And because I had been lifting, I healed a lot quicker and it was not as bad, because when I tell you I slipped, I felt bad. And I really should have hurt myself way more, but I had the muscle. Okay? So it's so important and so vital for you to figure out what's necessary for your body so that you can release things, because a lot of us are holding on to weight. A lot of us are holding on to weight. I'm finna block you, because why are you in here playing? I don't feel like making no examples today. Okay. So let's get into this aspect of it. If you can't relax your shoulders when you walk into a room, if you can't maneuver in a way to where your jaw isn't clenched, you know, walking into certain experiences, if your breathing gets shallow when you're going, your off switch is broken. And we need to correct that. We need to talk about that today, okay? So this is what no one tells high capacity women. And high capacity women are the type of women who are great achievers. I'm talking about anything you give them, they can get it done. Anything, you know, you need, they right there, you know, la la la. They're amazing. But these women are the forgotten women because they're so competent. They know so much that they know nothing at all. These are the women who will come and say, I want to have a session with you. And they will sit with me and tell me about all the therapy they've gone through. They will sit and they will tell me all about how they've read all these books. And I will tell them certain things. And they'll tell me, oh yeah, I heard all about that. I read about that. And I will ask, well, what are you doing here? If you feel as if you have all of the knowledge, what is it that you are doing here? Nobody knows everything. Even with everything I know, people can tell you from the time that they've watched me from the beginning. I always say, thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Anything good that comes from me, any wisdom that comes from me has come from the one that created me, that placed the knowledge within me. Me on my own, child, please. I know nothing. Even with everything that I know, and people praise my wisdom and be like, oh, you're so wise, you're so this. Even with everything I know nothing at all. Understand this. Even with everything that I know, and I'm spiritually gifted. So I'm claircognizant, I'm clairsentient, so I have the knowing and I have the feeling. When something is off, something is wrong, I know what time it is. Even with all of that, I still know nothing at all. Understand that. Because that's really true wisdom. Knowing that I don't know everything, because the reality is I don't have the capacity in my mind to be able to handle the true math of the universe. See, I don't have the brain capacity to truly understand the real math and science behind the creation of this entire everything. See, I don't have the mental capacity to be able to understand the thousands upon thousands of processes that happen within my body to keep me running, walking, doing all of these things, breathing. I don't know nothing about none of that stuff until I feel like something is wrong. See, my mind can't handle that. My mind can't even handle the fact that my liver has over 300 functions. Over 300 functions. And the fact that if I get so angry and stuck with unforgiveness and resentment that I could ruin my liver and it could make me go blind. See, these are the things we cannot fathom the knowledge that we claim we want. Baby, I don't want to know everything. You talking about spiritual psychosis. You don't want to trade places with the one that created everything. Our heads ain't big enough. Our heads ain't big enough. And the reality of the situation is the little power that we have been taught by fallen angels. If you go and you read the book of Enoch, you'll know the reason why we know the path of the clouds, meteorology, the reason why we know the path of the moon, the path of the sun, the path of the stars, is because those fallen angels taught that information to us. And what did we do with that information? This is why we have a 1%, because they use this information to oppress people. This is why we are not supposed to know a lot of the things that we know. So while you are seeking something, better be very careful what you are asking for. Because with everything that you think that you know, you still know nothing. Still know nothing. Okay? So let's talk about this, because nobody tells high capacity women the truth. Nobody tells high capacity women that you don't rise on ambition. See, that's what society taught you. See, that's a program. That's a slave mentality. The corporate system is a plantation. There's no other way I can describe this without just being this real. The corporate system is a plantation. You understand? And it was built specifically with a pipeline, from school to, prison, or either to becoming a worker bee. It's a plantation. And it's a plantation that makes you feel like you're reaching and you're actually getting somewhere by the time you get to the end of the field. But when you have done your job or picked your amount for the day, you realize that once you get to the end of the field, there's nothing left but for you to get up and do it all over again. Because when you're working the field, you're working the agenda of the owner of that plantation and of that field. You understand? They're not working for your greatness. This is why they will use you up for 30 years. This is why they will use you up and not give you anything but a pen or a pizza party when you retire. It was never about you. It was always about their agenda. Their agenda is to oppress. The corporate system was set up to oppress, to keep you in a state of not knowing and remembering who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, you forgot that you have power. And when you forget that you have power, you are consistently a victim in this life experience. You understand? So you don't rise on ambition, because you notice when you get to the end of the field, it's nothing but another field waiting on you. Much like when you graduate from elementary school, you go right into at the bottom again in the 7th grade or the 6th grade. When you graduate middle school or junior high school, you go right in at the bottom again as a freshman or a sophomore. When I was in school, it was different. But you always start at the bottom. You go from graduate from high school and you go to college, you go to entry level, you always start at the bottom. You always start at the bottom. And that's the terminology, field. They ask what field you're in. I'm so glad you said that. I wasn't going to say it. I was hoping somebody was going to catch that, though. Exactly. That is the terminology. Just like the Department of Labor terminology. Just like labor and delivery terminology. You are delivering the labor. Thank you for delivering the labor. This is the labor's number. We have a 9-digit number that's attached to this labor. Thank you. Cold game. Cold world. This is what happened when you get power and you use power to oppress people. Cold game. But when you can see things for what they are, the only way out of the field is for you to become rooted in the truth of who you are spiritually, because then you will be able to see. And when you can see, you document what you see. Because when you can't see, without a vision, the people will perish. Without a vision, the people will perish. Without a vision, the people will perish. And a lot of people can't see, which is why they are perishing. They don't see themselves. They don't see kingdom when they look in the mirror, though the kingdom of heaven is within them. But they steady look into the sky when the kingdom of heaven is within them. That's Luke 17:21. You don't rise on ambition, sweetheart. That's a system that they set you up with that. You don't rise on ambition, you rise on regulation. You rise on regulation. See, this is why the Most High, what does regulation look like? Well, the Most High told you in Scripture, don't worry. But society said there's no money, but the Scripture says don't worry. It tells you to regulate yourself. I told you that the Scripture is a book of codes. It's a book of cheat codes, because you're dealing with a life and a society of cheaters. They're cheating you. They cheat you. They use glamour magic and they use psychological spell work. But because you don't know that you are magic, and magic by definition means of supernatural source, you literally are of the ultimate supernatural source. But because you don't realize that, you practice magic instead of being the magic that you are. How crazy is that? You only practice something when you are about to perform it. And I don't need to perform magic. I am the walking magic. Me being in alignment is me being is magic. Your very being here is magic. Everything that is that is created doesn't come to fruition. We know this from, and I trigger warning, we know this from miscarriages and everything that is created does not come into fruition. You are walking magic. What do you need to practice? Being yourself? Hmm. That's the real issue with witchcraft. If you really get down to what scripture is telling, that's the real issue with it. Because why do you need to practice something that you are? To perform it for who? Who are you trying to seek the approval of, man? To control. There is only one control, and that is self-control. And when you have self-control, thank you, my love, that is so cute. When you have self-control, you actually end up controlling everything else around you. Cheat code. Thank you, my love, for these likes and these gifts. I love you. You don't rise on ambition, you rise on regulation. And right now, your nervous system thinks your life is an emergency. Your nervous system thinks your life is an emergency. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Did you hear what I said? Your whole life, your nervous system has developed the formula of thinking that your life is an emergency. This is why you walk around in an anxious state all the time. Being in an anxious state all the time makes you a slave to your emotions and your body. When you are called here to have dominion over self and dominion over everything else around you, how you become a slave to your own body? Because they tricked you and you didn't forgot who you were. You believe them. You let a creation that didn't create you tell you about you. It definitely can happen. Said, I feel like my nervous system shut down for a minute. That's a nervous breakdown. That's a nervous breakdown. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Let me explain what I mean that right now your nervous system thinks your life is an emergency. Number one, you train your body for pressure, not peace. You've trained your body for pressure, not peace. You have trained your body for pressure and not peace. Now, you may not have been the facilitator or the instructor of this pressure. You may not have been the one who laid the foundation and, had the first class on this pressure. It may have came from your mom. It may have came from your household, but you kept up the standard. So you trained your body for pressure. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes and these comments. You've conditioned for survival. You've normalized stress. You've normalized stress. Your system doesn't know what ease even feels like anymore. It only knows readiness. It only knows to be on guard. It only knows to be on alert. It only knows pressure. That's it. Think of your body as a high performance engine. Okay? You've been driving fifth gear for years. You understand? I'm so glad it's relatable. All praises to the Most High. Thank you for being here. Okay? You've been driving in fifth gear for years, and now you're trying to immediately put it in park. But the engine is still screaming. You ever tried to immediately put your car in park while I'm talking about you booking it? That's your nervous system. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Let me explain that. Stress hormones keep firing. Muscles, they stay braced. Your breath stays very, very shallow. Your brain stays extremely vigilant. Sleep is almost non-existent. You are literally optimized for a fight, yet you are not optimized for life. You are optimized for a fight, yet you are not optimized for life. You can't mindset your way out of a shortcut to correct this. You can't feminine your way out of fried wiring of your nervous system. This is not something that is physical, okay? This is something that's happened that's biological. This is why I say studying psychobiology is extremely important before you want to try to tap into any form of neuroscience. You have had enough mindset and manifestation techniques to use on your brain. Your body is not receiving it because you don't be in your body. Your body don't trust you. Your body doesn't trust you to accept the concepts that you are trying to place on it because you will not even sit with your body. So if you won't sit with me, if you won't love me, if you won't fool with me, if you won't give me the best of you, if you won't give me any aspect of who you are, then how do you expect me to accept what you're trying to provide? And that's the same thing. That's the mirror that you're facing in your relationships as well. It's the same mirror. You are trying to outsource the power source of love. You are trying to outsource the power source of love instead of giving it to yourself. You are going to be exhausted. Normalizing stress is now becoming an acute diastolic heart failure diagnosis. Question: Is that the medical term for broken heart syndrome? Because that's another one they're sleeping on. If that's not it, that's another one y'all sleeping on. Y'all love being in toxic relationships, don't realize it'll kill you. See, and the reason why I don't have any, I don't play no games about that is because I watched somebody die from it firsthand, very young. Broke my heart. I'll never forget it. So when I tell you, while you're sitting in those scenarios, playing with your life, you need to ask yourself, is he worth dying for? Because that's what you're positioning yourself for. The feminine cannot thrive in a space there is no structure. So she begins to create the structure. In order for her to create the structure, she has to tap into the left brain energy the majority of the time, which is her masculine aspect, critical thinking, getting things done, XYZ, making hard decisions. When you live in that space for too long, your feminine dies. See, this is why you can't be out here dealing with men who position you for that, thinking you're going to help him, though you done made all this money. You just want to go help everybody. Sit down. And then you put your life on the line by giving birth. And I'm going to tell you like this. Pregnancy is the closest that you are to death. Did you know that? Did you know, what would be happening to you? Do you realize that? Yes, because it eats you alive. You become your own. Anytime you stand in an experience that does not serve you and that is draining you, scripturally, you are self-destructing and eventually you're going to die. Point blank, period, at the end. Why? Because you become your own enemy by stealing your own joy, killing your own confidence. And once you kill your confidence, that's a breaking of belief of self. And when you break the belief of self, which is what pimps understand, which is why they are so successful, they break the spirit. And once the spirit is broken, the behavior that will follow is self-destructive. And who wins in the end? The op that's been waiting on you to fail. So please don't get that confused. You become your own enemy. The devil you the devil to yourself. See, this is where we get real with it. That's why I say the scripture teaches you. It ain't for play. It ain't for play. You cannot play with yourself. Nobody can play you without your permission, participation, or the fact that you simply are not paying attention. And we don't when we really like a man or like somebody, we don't like to pay attention to the red flags. Flags be pink, orange, and everything but red. Everything but red. So these are the things that we really have to start thinking about. And you wonder why your life is you optimize to fight instead of optimize for living. And let me tell you something, baby, the way things are coming in these states, the rest of this life, the things that's going to be going on the next, it's for the living. It's for the living, not for the walking dead. See, a lot of y'all walking dead. You ain't going to be able to continue to be in that type of space and move around like that. I'm telling you. They want more from their slaves. They want more from you. When are you going to come off the plantation? When are you going to come out of that mindset? When are you going to come out of that space? Okay? Thank you for being here, Lovey. And a lot of women, like I said, they think that they're powerful, but power without regulation is just noise. Power without regulation is just noise. Real power is fluid. Fluid. What does it look like to be fluid? Can I give you an example? I'm going to give you a good one. It's when you know how to be a lioness in a business meeting, in a board meeting. You know how to be a lioness. And see, if you've done any study of lions versus lionesses, you will understand that the true je ne sais quoi, the true one in the experience is the lioness, because of the way that she moves and the way that she hunts and the things that she does, right? So it's knowing how to be a lioness in the boardroom, in the business meetings, but knowing how to be a river at home. Do you know how to be a river at home? Do you know how to flow at home? Like I said, again, it's about being able to be a lioness in a business meeting, a lioness in a boardroom, but a river at home. And right now, that's not a reality for a lot of you. A lot of you are in tiger mode. You have grit. You're on alert. You're on the prowl. You always just sitting around waiting on something to pop off, ready to attack. When was the last time that you were a river? Energetically or physically? Because let me tell you something else. The tears you won't cry for the wives, and the tears you won't cry are connected to the orgasms you're not having. Because in order for the river to flow, sweetheart, and see, this is what I talk about when it comes down to erotic polarity that I teach behind closed doors. Your ability to be a river requires a level of nakedness that's bigger than taking off your clothes. It requires a level of vulnerability outside of you acting like everything is okay. It requires a freedom, an openness, a willingness to be seen so that you can be met at the river, okay? See, y'all don't be understanding the fullness of your feminine energy, and that's your problem. That's why you sitting over there like a statue. My God. A lioness in a meeting, baby, in a river at home. Trust me, okay? Being in tiger mode is not supporting you, because strong women don't need more grit. They need softer wiring. You know what I'm saying? Softer capacity so that you can actually receive the things that you really want. And this is why nothing really feels satisfying to you anymore. Okay? You've achieved the life, you've built an amazing business or career, you got the house, you got all the stuff that society told you should have. You got the partner. Maybe you got that. But you can feel it though. You can feel it. You're living this high quality life according to what society is saying that you should be living, but low quality sensation. That's not success. That's not joy. That's survival with a different salary. Of course of course you made more money, of course, but that's survival with a salary. You just got money now. You still the same person. You still see yourself the same way. Strong woman raised by two generations of strong women. Same. I was raised by 2 generations of strong women. My grandmother Very strong woman. She had 7 children. My other grandmother has had 11 children. My mother is very strong. And I was raised to be very left brain and very masculine. So when people, and it's very interesting because in my 20s, though I dress girly, do all that, but I was hella masculine. So when people see me now who haven't seen me in a long time, or they find my teeth, they're like, oh my God, people don't even know like how you used to be just so. And I'm like, yeah, I used to be really, really angry, very strong, very independent, but also very alone, very unseen, very sick, very sad. Very sad, not really sleeping well, hoping that people would appreciate me and applaud me because of my degrees and all the things that I had and things that I could do for people, very much so in my masculine. When you do things for people, you expect something in return. This is why masculine men are the givers and women are the receivers. It's not your position to be out there overly giving and to be doing this and doing that. That is going to drain you. When Eve got here, it wasn't asked to her, oh, can she do this? Can she do that? Her very presence, her very being had him like, oh my God, this is me. Flesh in my flesh bone. I need to see about her. Not she needs to see about him. This is where we get it very, very confused. And even when it comes down to the whole thing, people say, well, what about the whole, the help me thing? Okay, first and foremost, if you really go and look up what a help me says, it says that this is a person who is suitable to meet the need. Y'all be trying to make people be suitable to meet the need when they're not suitable. Y'all be trying to be suitable to meet the need when you're not the suitable one. See, when you're the suitable one, it's not going to drain you. It's not going to drain you to show up in spaces you're supposed to be in. Now, does that mean everything is going to be perfect? Absolutely not. Does that mean that you're going to be problem-free? Absolutely not. But that means that this is not going to be sucking the life out of you. Y'all, a lot of women are in experiences where it's sucking the life from them, which is insane for you to sit in that space. That's not for you. You didn't come here for that. If you believe you came here to exhaust yourself to oblivion, pay bills and die, I hate that for your reality, because that was not your design. That's really not your portion. But if you choose it due to the psychological spell work that is placed and the glamour magic that is done in this society and specifically in this country, then yeah, I can understand why you would fall under that. But if you want to shift that and you want to do something different, you're going to have to come on out of that. You're going to have to come on out of that. If you can't, and I'm going to just be real with you, if you can't relax without wine or something, if you can't sit still without your phone, if you can't breathe without checking your email and doing this and doing that, then your system's in a state of being like a frozen state, okay? And let me explain what I mean by a frozen state. That means you have a freeze response, meaning that you're not really showing up to the fullness of yourself. You're stopping right there in a freeze response. You're hypervigilant. You have biological armor. So everything is just tense. You can just feel it, everything. Survival conditioning. Absolutely. This is why Sabbath is so important. And it talks about how Sabbath is a gift. Okay? Like, a lot of women don't realize you built a body that could survive pressure, but you forgot to build one that could receive. And that is the primary function of your design, to receive. Imagine being made for something and never being utilized for what you're actually made for. Imagine getting worn down because I want you to think about it from this aspect. Imagine me having a pot. And with this pot, I done hit somebody in the head with the pot, so the pot got a dent in it, right? I done use this pot as a hammer. I have used this pot to play tennis. I have used this pot to play baseball. By the time we look at that pot again, that pot is going to look toe up. That pot is going to look so completely gone and different from its original design. It's not even going to function right if I tried to put some water in it to boil, because I have tore the pot up. That is what's happening with women. when you position yourself trying to be a helpmeet in a space where you are not suitable, where you are out of alignment. Misalignment will always make you sick because it throws the body out of balance. Dis-ease, by definition, means a lack of harmony within the body. The external experience and the external stimuli should not be so powerful that it shifts things in your body. When you allow external stimuli to shift your emotional state, to shift your being, to shift the way you operate, you have placed that external stimuli in a position that the creator should be in. And that is your problem. You have made this man an idol so much to where he has the power to ruin your day or make you sick. You have put this corporate position in such a high place to where it could demand your time and make you sick and make you feel all these things. Be very careful what you place and put up there as an idol. And an idol, it's easy. It's easy. It's easy to idolize something because all it starts with is an idea. The pipeline from idea to idol is very thin. It's very short. It's easy to go from an idea to idolizing something. And you have to be careful because when you move things from its natural order, from spiritual order, you will find yourself in a space of disarray every single time because you are not bigger than the program, and the program that governs existence in the entire universe is spiritual law. You are not above the earthly program, which is natural law that comes second. You are not above your body's program, which is your nervous system. So you will never receive the healthy love that you desire if you don't rewire your nervous system to accept safety as safety and not safety as boring, so you don't sabotage the experience. You will not be able to hold a large amount of money consistently coming into your space if you do not rewire your nervous system to receive money safely. Because if you were not shown a healthy, safe relationship with money growing up, giving you $1 million is going to blow it. Giving you a healthy relationship and you ain't never seen it, you're going to blow it. You have to be an energetic match to be able to sustain the things that you are asking for, or you're going to have to stop asking for those things because you're not going to be able to manage it. You're not going to be able to keep it. And it ain't no point of starting something that you ain't going to be able to finish. We've had enough of that. We've had enough of that. Okay? So, like I said, a lot of you have built a body that could survive pressure, but forgot to build one that can actually receive, and receiving is your primary design, okay? So I want you to grasp this, okay? I'm here to help you stop being a statue. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes, and thank y'all for getting me to 20K. I appreciate you, and all praises to the Most High for the value provided. I'm here to help you stop being a statue, okay? And actually start being a body that can actually feel the life that you've built, the life that you're building, okay? So let's talk about that for a second and what that looks like. So for the woman who is frozen right now and who is in this state, okay? 28 days, that's all I need. I need 28 days from you to catch the exact system, okay? Or catch the exact second that your system locks in a freeze. I need 28 days with you. That's all I'm asking for. We're going to interrupt the snap. We're going to interrupt the shutdown. We're going to interrupt the spiral. We're going to rebuild your off switch because you need one. Lioness at work, in business. River at home. You understand? River. Being a river at home is so important. I cannot even express that. I really hope y'all understand what I'm saying with that. But river at home is key. Girl, if I don't know how to do nothing else, I know how to get you results. I know how you can make more money so that you can sustain. I can support you in getting results and getting healthier. And one thing that I am excellent at, I am really good at you being river when it comes down to you dealing with the masculine. You being like water. Water is a feminine element. It is your natural and true form. And when you know how to be like water, like Bruce Lee said, sweetheart, you will move mountains. Water can move mountains. That's how powerful it get. It can either calm you. It can be so powerful it drowns you. You can float on it. You have to understand how to work the element that you are. You are water. You are earth. Okay? Just like men are air and men are fire. This is why men should be in pursuit of you, because they are fire. Fire includes the spark, them initiating. Fire includes the flame. Fire includes the, taking off. So, yeah, be like water, my friends. Be like river, okay? And we support you in understanding that and becoming the river. So I have a program called the Pattern Interruption Lab. The Pattern Interruption Lab is going to be starting on January the 29th, okay? In the Pattern Interruption Lab, these are the things that you're going to have done by the end of that 28-day experience, okay? So we're going to identify your core repeating pattern, not the story, but the mechanism. We're going to recognize the exact moment that you default. The reason why you go back to your initial response of what you do on a regular, or let's just say the reason why you left Pilates and you left working out and left the gym and went and got something to eat from a fast food place is because you didn't have a plan on what you were going to eat on days you go to the gym when you get done. It was because you didn't have something to default, okay, or detour, so you don't go back to your default programming. This is the exact same thing that's happening internally. When you hear, and there's even a TikTok that's going on and said, in order for you to stop the loop, you must break the pattern. That's exactly what this is. I'm teaching you how to stop and break the pattern in real time. And when you learn how to stop and break the pattern in real time, such as the pattern of impulsivity, if you come and you work with me and I support you in the area of breaking the pattern of impulsivity, you'll stop jumping into bed with people quickly. You'll stop spending money quickly. You'll stop just going to eat fast food quickly, because you will have a 60-second something that I'm going to give you where you can detour and make a different decision, because I'm giving you a way out. I'm giving you a mechanism. And I'm also giving you a Telegram group where you come into the community and we're going to be communicating on the regular. We also have once a week, 75-minute sessions that we will be having live, where we're going to be addressing the pattern. This is not we come in a trauma dump. I have a zero venting policy in that experience. We have to ban the word because in that experience. I don't want to hear he did this to me or this happened because we don't care because this person did this or this experience was like this. Because gives people a shortcut to be able to excuse whatever happened on this side of things. No, we're not doing that. We're paying attention to what exactly happened and we're correcting where we default. Okay, so that's very, very important. The next thing that's going to happen is that you're going to interrupt one high impact pattern in real time. If your issue is around money, most issues when women are around money, meals, and men. So serious. So serious. It's not really issues of the mind, because women will go and read things and it's not really issues of the mind. It's the issue of your heart space, and your impulsivity is rooted in something within you that we have to address, a pattern. Yes, I did say meals. I'm talking about food. Food, finances, and fellas, whichever one you want, however you want to do it. That's where women have the most issues, okay? So we're going to interrupt that high impact pattern in real time. You're going to learn to stop confusing emotional awareness with emotional change. Y'all be pissing me off accepting apologies with no change behavior. You know why you accept apologies with no change behavior? Because you don't change your behavior. And because you don't change your behavior, you don't feel comfortable holding someone else to the standard of changing their behavior. And this is why friends will stick together and be like, girl, I can't say, who am I to judge? Y'all be using that so wrong, when in reality is the scripture tells you to judge. Hello? The scripture tells you not to judge based on your opinion, because you don't know enough. So you don't have the right to say, well, yeah, you meant to do this, because you don't know if they meant to do that. That is an error in judgment. You don't know that to be a fact. You understand? We are supposed to judge people based on their fruit, who they say that they are. So yes, you are actually supposed to judge. But the truth is, you don't want to judge because you don't want to be judged. Ha. You don't want to judge because you don't want to be judged. And you don't want to be judged because you don't want to be seen. And you don't want to be seen because you're scared to be exposed. And it's because you won't expose yourself to yourself. See, when you expose yourself to yourself, that's a bigger layer. That's above being aware. Yeah, that's just, yeah, I know I do this, da-da-da-da. That's awareness. Nobody cares about that. Duh, you should be aware. But are you in a space where you're actually going to actually do something different about it? Do you actually take action so that you can actually ascend? I used to be the one to apologize when it wasn't even my fault. Exactly. That comes from a place of people pleasing. You scroll all the way down to the bottom and you click the link. That's how you can come into the interruption lab. It is a Google Doc and it's telling you what you're going to get. And when you get to the very bottom and you click it, it's going to take you to where you make your payment. You can use Klarna Firm and Afterpay and have four payments of $222. The program itself is $888. So click the link, scroll all the way down, and then click the link to purchase, and then you're going to get your onboarding email. You're going to get your 22s. I'm immediately starting the interruption process immediately because I want you to get it. So you're going to get those 22s. So you'll be ready when we start on the 29th because we're going in like, it's going to be so good. Because pattern recognition is a gift of mine. All praises to the Most High. I'm really good at pattern recognition. Pattern recognition is what supported me in losing 100 pounds. It supported me in building a multi-six-figure business from the ground up without hustling, without having to work every day, but while practicing Sabbath. Like, on the days that people are like, oh, we make the most money, I don't work on Saturdays. I don't work on the 7th day. People who know me know this. I don't work on the 7th day. It is a day of rest for me. It is a way to honor. I ain't doing it. And honestly, it's the reason why I hit the multi-six figures, because when I was working on Saturdays as a bridal makeup artist, clearing $1,500 days and different things like that, I still couldn't keep no money. And I was a MAC artist, permanent artist, working part-time. I was working at the Department of Children's Services, and I had a bridal business, and I could not hold money. I did not have the capacity to hold money, and my money kept leaving me. And it kept leaving me because I would not rest. I thought I had to work so hard for the money. See, the programming be having you twisted. So hard for the money. Programming. Teaching you to be a slave through music, because music is a medium. Music is a medium, and because it's a medium, it can enter. A medium basically is you can enter into the in-between without necessarily being noticed unless you're paying attention. And music is the medium that has been programming us to hustle, all these type of things. When hustle by definition means to swindle. To swindle means to steal. The hustle steals your time, it steals your energy, it steals your attention, and it pays you cheap money. Because you will never get back what it is that you are giving exchange for that little money that they're giving you. Okay, so these are the things that we have to pay attention to. So stop confusing. That's what's going to happen in that space too. You're going to stop confusing, okay, emotional awareness with emotional change. You are also going to clearly see what needs to happen next. Like, what's your next path of ascension? Do I need to stabilize now? Or do I need to, work on attachment repair? Or do I need to do deeper identity work next? What is my next step? Because the thing is, we're constantly evolving. People are like, well, where am I trying to get to? You're constantly evolving in the time frame, in the way that you are supposed to be evolving. Okay? That's going to be very, very important for you to thrive in this experience. So you coming into the Pattern Interruption Lab is going to give you high level exposure. You'll have access to me, and we'll be working together directly. We're going to meet every single week. Okay. And it's going to be amazing. And I'm really, really excited about it. It's going to be a great time. So I'm excited about these 28 days because it tells you, all you need is 21 days to be able to change a habit. Girl, you're going to have 28. And baby, if you've ever spent 1 hour with me and we were working, then you know what time it is when we really get in the program. Okay? So you can come into the Pattern Interruption Lab. Like I said, it's $888. You can get it with Klarna Firm and Afterpay. If you're not ready for the Pattern Interruption Lab, something else that I have for you is Emotional Foundations that will also support you, okay? Emotional Foundations is honestly for the woman who is like brittle. She can't take no more. And I understand what it's like to be in a space where you can't take no more. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you're in a space where you can't take no more, you don't need to come, okay, into the Pattern Interruption Lab, okay? Hey, my love, it's going to be on Thursdays, okay? It's going to be on Thursdays, and we're going to be having our sessions around noon. But it's going to be on Thursdays, okay? And they're going to be 75 minutes. You can listen, you can lock in and look, but I'm right there, and we're going straight into it, okay? So emotional foundations you can get for $333. You can get that with client affirming Afterpay as well. It's for the woman who is literally in a space where she's like brittle. She's like, I can't take one more thing. If one more thing hit my plate, I feel like everything is going to shatter. Let me first say I have no judgment for you if you're in that space. You're welcome, my love. I have no judgment for you. Because with everything that is going on in this world and that has gone on since we have existed, realizing that they have been lying to us so much, realizing that they have been poisoning us, realizing that they have been tricking us, realizing that they have been separating us from our core and making us work against ourselves so much that society, especially in the States, so many women have womb issues because we are so disconnected from our core. We could not hear our own screams. We could not hear our own body screaming because we could not even catch our breath. So I have no judgment when you are in a space where you feel like if one more thing hits, you know, everything is about to shatter. Hey, lady of the house. Y'all make sure y'all go over there and follow lady of the house, baby. I love me some lady of the house, okay? Love her down. She's going to get you right. She's going to get a real honest conversation about marriage. What if I have lunch? What time zone are you on, my love? What time zone are you on? You're on Houston time. Okay, so you're on Central. Okay. Let me, what I will do is for the women who all come in, I'll give you a choice to choose between a noon time or a 6 p.m. time. Okay. So that's how we do that. That's how I do that. Not late for class. I was kicked in the hallway. Repeat what you said about the womb issues and not hearing our own screams, please. I mean, it's just the reality of it. When you are disconnected from your core, you ignore the signs of your body. It's the you're welcome, my love. It comes from, and I'm gonna tell you something. You overriding your body and overriding your systems comes from childhood. You learn to put your feelings, your emotions, and your wants on the back burner. And this happens a lot to little girls. This happens a lot to oldest daughters. This happens a lot to just women in general, especially if you grew up, you know, Black women, women of color. Our no is taken from us. And what I mean by that is when you have a toddler that screams no, most of the time we will say things like, you don't tell me no, I'm your mama. Though I understand the sentiment, right? Have you considered, instead of saying that, but considering how to implement these three key things? If let me tell you something. If you can implement these three key things in all aspects of your life, it will change how you move. It will make you think before you take an action, right? And it will position you to be in alignment. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Number one, when a toddler says to you, no, instead of saying, you don't tell me no, I'm your mama, you say, hey, no is a good word, but this is not the time and it's not appropriate for you to say no to me right now. It's okay to say no, you don't want a hug right now. It's okay to say no, I don't want ice cream. It's okay to say no. In those instances, we have got to start understanding as women the principle of timing, appropriate, and setting. Timing, appropriate, and setting. I'm about to go off on him. Is this the timing? Is this appropriate? Is this the setting? You don't take away the power of the people that you are here to rear. You teach them how to stand in it. You teach them how to use it. You teach them timing, appropriate setting. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. Exactly right. Making girls say yes to hug. Exactly. How you gonna say hug your uncle, but you gonna tell her not to say no? You teaching her to not say no, but you making her hug her uncle that give her the crease. I don't believe in making children hug nobody. I don't, baby, if the baby don't want to hug me, I'm not mad. I don't care if the baby is mine or my free. See, this is what I be saying. A lot of times people don't respect free will unless it's benefiting them. That baby is here. That baby got free will too to say no. They don't want that. They don't want you. Nobody cares about your feelings being hurt. You need to learn how to respect boundaries. The only people who feelings get hurt because of a no are people who always say yes. That's why you mad. Well, I would do it for you. Nobody told you to be a slave. They may have been your training. But you can rewire that. You can rewire that. My feelings be hurt with the baby hug rejection, but me too. My feelings be too hurt. Too hurt. But I'm going to eat that because you have the right. You have the right. You got autonomy over your body. The Most High said that we are here to have dominion. I don't get to take your dominion over your space just because you are my child or a child. You gonna give me a hug? Absolutely not. I wish somebody would. I don't even have no children. My brother and sister probably gonna crank them out because they know. But when they crank them out, if they don't want to hug me, I'm not making them hug. And if they don't want to hug, I'm not making them hug anybody. You understand? So, not doing it. I'm so sorry to read that. I'm so sorry to read that. Emotional foundations for the woman who is brittle, okay? Who feel like she's about to shatter. A lot of women like this and who need emotional foundations, you're functioning, but you're fragile. You need to build internal safety, okay? You need thicker wires so you can sustain what it is that you are asking for. You need stability before expansion, okay? This is the infrastructure that you need to support yourself, okay? If you're frozen and breaking down at the seams, then you need the Pattern Interruption Lab. If you need to rebuild your capacity for ease, then foundations is where you need to be, okay? You don't need to do more self-care because it's not going to work. Your nervous system, or you need nervous system leadership because you need to rewire your nervous system in order to receive, to be in a safe space. But here's the thing I want you to understand. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And if that's cool with you, if you cool, I'm cool. Anthony Elmont said that. If you cool, I'm cool. We cool. If you cool with you, So, but if you stay frozen, your life will continue to passing on and passing through you. So I want a lot of you to stop being the boss at 6 p.m. and really understand how to be a river at home. How to be a lioness in the boardroom, but be a river at home. And if you really want to be in this space of that understanding, then I will see you on the 29th in the Pattern Interruption Lab. What questions do you guys have for me? I'm going to take some questions. As a woman electrician, this is speaking to me on so many volumes. You really got the science down. Thank you, my love. And I'm going to tell you something. I had to get the science of myself down. There are 3 things I always teach and I tell women that are very, very important. And I love that you are a woman electrician. My daddy was an electrician. Rest him. And my brothers are electricians as well. But 3 things that I tell women specifically that they're going to need if they want to thrive. Number 1, you need to know spiritual law. Like I talked about earlier, the reason why so many people, there's a percentage of the world or the country that is oppressed is because the people in the small percentage actually use spiritual law, but they use it against us. They use it to oppress. They use it in a way that is damaging and in a way that reveals that it was never supposed to be revealed, because there's not ever supposed to be one aspect of people who oppress a whole bunch of other people. It was never supposed to be that. Men were sent here to exploit systems. You know what I'm saying? To, in that aspect, women were sent here to manipulate energy of the earth. We were never sent here to manipulate men, and men were never sent here to exploit women. Society taught you how to do that through patriarchy and a whole bunch of other slave type systems and different things like that. Okay, so the reason why this is so important for you to know spiritual law, so you can create your own reality. Okay, because every single day you're getting up, you're interacting with multiple realities. When you're coming into another person's world, you're coming into their reality, right? If you want to create the reality that you desire and the things that of your heart, you want that in that space, and these are things that the Most High said that He would give you. You have to understand spiritual law, and you have to use it from the space of operating, like it said, with the spiritual fruits, vibrating on the states of love, peace, joy, gentleness, all of that, because under the fruit, there is no law. There is nothing that can come up against you. There is no element of darkness that can supersede the light that you are operating in when you are operating from the energy of the fruit. There is nothing that can come against that. But people are so afraid to operate from the aspects of the fruit because they're concerned about being hurt. But that's where the protection is. But you have to jump from fear to the line of courage, which is a vibrational state. And once you get into the state of courage, then you can quantum jump into love, peace, joy, and all of those things. And whatever you create from those spaces is sustainable. Whatever you create from fear, whatever you create from apathy, whatever you create from shame, those things do not, benefit you, and those things are not sustainable. Okay, so creating from understanding spiritual law so you can create your own reality is very important. That's number one. Number two, you have to understand the science of yourself, which is what the young lady was speaking of. I'm gonna come into y'all questions too. She said, I really got the science down, where it's very important for women to understand the science of self. If you understand the science of the feminine design, the science of self, if you don't understand the science of your feminine design, you need to get the physics of rhythm ASAP. The physics of rhythm is a course, and you also get a session with me. It's $597. You can click the link in the bio to get access to it. I had a nurse who got it not too long ago, and she was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this course is this price point. Because this information is insane. I've paid more for so much of less information that you're giving here. You really understand how we operate. It's very important as a woman for you to understand the science of yourself, because when you understand the science of yourself, you then understand the law of polarity states that there's a feminine and there's a masculine. So when you understand how you work scientifically, how you work across the board, you will understand and be able to recognize what masculinity is and what masculine energy is not. And you, as a feminine being in your essence, being in the fullness of the science of yourself, will not try to create chemistry with a feminine man when you claim to be a feminine woman. There is no way that you are a feminine woman and you are calling in or creating chemistry with a feminine man. You are a masculine woman, and you have to own that aspect of it. You need to look at yourself and see if you are operating according to your science or operating from the persona you had to create to survive. Okay, thank you, my love, for these gifts. You had to go hard in the paint because you had to get to the top and work with men, and you dominated in men fields, so you had to pick up. No, your femininity is leverage. Understanding the science of yourself will position you to win every time. I'm telling you what I know. So when you understand the science of yourself, you have better relationships with the masculine. You know how to deal with them. You don't have expectations for them to act like you or be like you, because you understand the way that they operate, because you understand the way that you operate, and they operate the opposite. It's science. It is polarity. It is the law of polarity. There is no way that you can be a feminine woman and attract a feminine man. You are not feminine, and you got to tell the truth. The truth will set you free. First it hits, it hurts, then it heals. You got to accept it. That's how medicine works, okay? The third aspect that's going to be very, very important if you want to thrive in a society as a feminine woman is that you're going to have to look at your mama, your grandma, your auntie, the women in your family, the women who raised you, the women that came before you. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes and these comments and these follows. You have to look at all of them without judgment. You have to look at all of them and study the generational psychology behind each one of them. You have to find the loopholes in the things. You have to find out what the real curses are. Y'all are going after things that society is telling you to do. Y'all are going to try to create generational wealth. Is that the curse that needs to be broken in your family? Because if you are in alignment with your life, whether you are to be a person that has a whole bunch of money or not enough money, you gonna always have what's for you and based on what you're here to do and who you are. You're going to have everything you need when you're in alignment. Not everybody is here to break the curse of generational wealth. Some of you are here to break the curse of low self-esteem. Some of you are here to break the curse of people pleasing. These are identities that you have attached yourself to based on your programming and wiring. And if you don't rewire, if you don't do this work, you will repeat these timelines. You are not better than them. Because y'all make me mad the way y'all treat these baby boomers and these elders. Yes, they have trauma. Yes, they don't talk about this stuff. Yes, they surly. Yes, they stubborn. Yes, they this. Look at the psychology in which they were raised. We are not that far off from picking cotton. Generation that was picking cotton. Them people had to suck it up. I remember going to the freaking museum on a trip with my mother, and I was asking her questions about her childhood, and my mother had to explain to me and tell me how they had to walk through a field to go to school, and they were spraying chemicals on the things that were in the field. I think it's like a cornfield, and that man would turn on the damn machines when he saw my mama and her siblings walking across the field. That's what she grew up in. Want to know why she got this type of persona and why she just can't? They came from what goes on in my house stays in my house. You shut up. A lot of the women that have come before us have been great. And they ain't been able to talk about it. They don't come from the generation of talking about their feelings. Stop trying to bring concepts from our millennial generation into their world. They cannot receive it. You don't want nobody forcing nothing on you. You cannot force that on them. You have to accept the reality of who they are. But you learn by studying their psychology, the why, the what was going on. Because you will then find the pattern that has been tearing your generation up. You will find the pattern that has been eating the women that came before you alive. You understand? One of the curses that I was here to break is the curse of self-sacrifice. Do you understand? It is the curse of self-sacrifice. I used to think it was me going to college and breaking the spell of education and doing this and getting a business and doing it. And I thought that's what it was. I thought that's what it was. But see, the biggest curse was that self-sacrifice. I watched the women in my family sacrifice themselves for their children, for the men that they were. I watched the curse of low self-esteem run rampant through their decisions and their choices. I watched the multiple identities they had to create to survive. And I said, hell no. Absolutely not. And I have no judgment for them because that's the lemon tree that I come from. How dare I? How dare I be disgusted at the lemon tree that I come from? You understand? I choose to understand the roots of it. I choose to understand the seed that was planted. And I choose to pluck the roots that don't belong on the journey that I'm going on. I know who I am, and I'm grateful for that. Because I know who I am, I can make decisions based on the posture and the positioning that I know that I am. Because the queen is the most powerful piece on the chessboard. She can move anywhere. All she got to do is be intentional, strategic, and make her next move her best move. It's always my move. That is what I learned from my ancestors. I am to always prioritize myself. That is what my ancestors taught me. My grandmother, rest her, used to say self-preservation is key. And she would speak it even from the weakness of her own body, but self-preservation is key. She passed that to my mother, and my mother passed that to me and my sister. And the minute something going on, the first thing we say is self-preservation is key. You have got to do your work if you want to thrive here. The whole system, thank you, my love, for these gifts, these loves, and these comments. The whole system is set up for you to be a slave, for you to not know yourself as a woman, for you to be weak, for you to be unstable, because you cannot be stable and hold power. They don't want you powerful as a woman. They want you weak. They want you wounded. Come out of the dark. Emotional foundations will help you come out of the dark. And the pattern interruption lab will stop it in its tracks, and it give whatever it is that has had power over you, impulsivity or whatever it is, it will no longer have power, because you have dominion over self. You understand? So click the link in the bio to get access to Emotional Foundations, the Pattern Interruption Lab. Emotional Foundations is a audio-based course, and it's audio because audio is what rewires your nervous system. You can't handle any more visual right now. Now I am going to throw a bonus in there in about a week, so if you had it, I'm going to throw a bonus in there of some visuals that you are to watch once you've already done that audio work, just to kind of keep you on track to where you're going. And I'm going to put that in there about a week as a bonus. But we got to get you balanced. We got to get you right. And all I want you to do is listen to the sound of my voice. All I want you to do is write the sound of my voice. I want you to write down in those worksheets and those workbooks nothing but the truth. And you will set yourself free in that experience. Free from the identities you had to create during childhood to survive. Free from the identities you had to create to be in those relationships. Free from the identities you had to create in the corporate world that made you feel like you needed to code switch because you had to appear as somebody else in order to be respected. That is not your portion. That is not what the Most High has for you. And I need you to know that and walk in that, because we are in the year of embodiment or exposure. Choose your lane. I pray you choose well. I pray you choose well. All right, let me get these questions out because I gotta go, for real. Let me see, I'm gonna try to go back. Let's see. Can you repeat the river quote? Being a lioness in a boardroom and in business, but knowing how to be a river at home. And you know you're a river when you have no problem releasing on both ends. And I'm gonna say that again. You know you're a river when you have no problem releasing on both ends. You have no problem with crying. You're not crying and saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And you're also not ashamed of yourself when you fully release in rivers in that element either. So that's how you know you're a river. You have no problem with releasing. Can you be knocked out of your frequency capacity? I feel frozen after an illusion came apart. You can feel, you nailed it. You can feel frozen. You can feel frozen. I love that you said that. You can't be knocked off of your frequency. You can jump down off your frequency. And an illusion can make you, sometimes external stimuli can make you have some form of a reaction or some form of a response. And when you hit that other vibrational state, you may feel like you're stuck there, but that right there within itself is also an illusion. Because depending on where you are on the vibrational scale, you may be closer to courage than you realize. But because of the illusion that's saying that you are frozen in that space, you can't see the forest for the trees, if that makes sense. Let's see what other questions. Let me see. I don't think I see anything else. I'm missing anything. Thank you, my love, for these likes. How do you get out of flight or fight? You get emotional foundations. That's how. You get emotional foundations. Walk you through the entire thing. Because here's the reality of the situation. If you're clear on your position, if you're clear on your position, if you're clear on your position, right? If you're clear on your positioning, then why is there a fight? Why do I need to have an element of flight? Why do I want to flee? And why do I need to freeze? If I'm at the right place at the right time doing the right thing, that's alignment. So why do I need to freeze? We have to deal with the deeper issue of what got you in the space of that. And we have to reset that baseline. Because like you said, or like I'm saying, why would you have to fight, flight, or freeze in an experience that is aligned with you? You don't. Nervous system is calm in those experiences. Nervous system is regulated. And remember, we rise based on regulation, which also confirms what I'm telling you about the high vibrational state and vibrational scale. You rise on regulation. The more if you regulate yourself while on the frequency of fear, you can jump into the frequency of the vibrational state of courage. Once you're on the vibrational state of courage, you will be met there. See, when you jump up into a new level and you lose things, you are met with something else, but you don't know what you're going to meet because you won't take that jump. You won't calm yourself enough to be able to take the courage. Oh my God, I'm so worried. Worry is a spiritual violation. And worry is a spiritual violation, but it's also a scientific violation, because when you worry, you weaken your immune system. You weaken your defenses, because to worry, that energy of worry goes to your spleen. And once it goes to your spleen, it starts to impact the way your spleen interacts with the stomach. And once you have those problems, now we got IBS. Now we're going to the bathroom and having issues. But see, you know this already if you don't believe me. Because if you don't believe me, I want you already knew this. You just forgot. Let me tell you how you forgot. Y'all know, and y'all probably have seen little children when they get real frustrated or they get real worried, they can't go to the bathroom. Their stomach start hurting. It's the exact same thing. Worry weakens the immune defenses. So when they put information out there to make your mind be afraid of things, afraid to travel to another country, afraid to come outside, afraid to do this, afraid to do that, they are literally lowering your immune defenses. So if there is an illness out there, if there is a sickness and you run into it, you welcome it in your body because your defenses are low. They know all of this too. They know all of this. They know all of these things. And they do it on purpose because sickness makes you a slave to your body. And when you become a slave to your body, you need to go see Master. You need to go see Master. Big Farm. You go see Master. Another system set up for you to be a slave. Another system set up for you not to succeed. They don't want to cure you, baby. Okay? All right, y'all, I gotta go, for real. Click the link in the bio to get access to the Pattern Interruption Lab, or to come into the Pattern Interruption Lab. I only have 7 more spots. I'm taking 8. We start January 29th. It's gonna be 28 days. It's gonna be a powerful experience. It's gonna change your life. You're gonna have the game on lock when it comes down to interrupting any pattern that you have from that point on. And when you repeat less patterns, you create less trauma. So if you have spent your first half of your life in such traumatic experiences, wouldn't you want to spend the rest of your life not repeating those experiences? I'm just asking for your heart space. Because how many hits to the heart you think you're going to be able to take before the heart stops? Better look up broken heart syndrome, because that is a real thing. I told you I watched somebody die from it firsthand. Thank you, my love. I watched somebody die from it firsthand, broke my heart into pieces. But it taught me something. And I said that I'm gonna write a Substack article about my spiritual awakening over the weekend. I'm gonna write 2 articles about how a panic attack put me in position. And I'm gonna talk about my spiritual awakening, the day I had to die. The day an aspect of me had to die in order for me to be born. So click the link in the bio to get access to these things as they come. I hope y'all have an amazing, amazing weekend. Thank you for being here on Feminine Friday. I will see you all next Wednesday, Lord willing, for Wisdom Wednesdays, my podcast episode for High Capacity Women, the Emotional Wealth Lab. Will be dropping its 3rd episode on Monday. So, yes, come on into that space. Get on my email list, because I've been talking chemistry the last couple of days. The first day I talked about chemistry with money. I talked about chemistry with men. Follow me on Facebook as well, because I'll be dropping long form posts over there, and on YouTube. Subscribe over there. My paid subscribers, like I said, I'm going to be dropping many master classes over there, because I'm going to be getting y'all right. Thank you so much for investing in your development, and I don't take that for granted. So I'm going to be giving out a lot of goodies in 2026 for my paid Substackers, my paid YouTube subscribers, and of course my amazing community that works with me behind closed doors. So yes, click the link in the bio to get access. Y'all have an amazing, amazing weekend. Remember, please, self-care is the key fundamental of every single relationship. You set the tone of how people treat you by the way you treat yourself, so you treat yourself exceptionally well. And go follow Lady of the House, because I love her down, and she gives out so much value. She gives out so much. And what I love about watching her on live and watching her content is that you can tell it's just pure hearted. It's very, very, very pure hearted. So please go over there and make sure that you go and you follow her, especially if you are in your 20s, especially if you are talking about, you're in a state of mind where you're like, oh my God, I'm not married, I'm not this and I'm that. She gives you the truth about marriage. Now, y'all know, y'all been following me for a while. Y'all know I always say I don't respect the way that women will come on here and not tell the truth, the full aspect and the full spectrum of marriage. Now, I told y'all I don't be doing a bunch of talk about marriage. I was married for 8 years, but I don't do a lot of talking about the marriage. I just tell you that it's a beautiful work, and it takes work to make it beautiful. And if you ain't doing your own work within your own self, don't expect that experience to be beautiful. It's going to be quite ugly, and it's going to reveal itself really quickly. So she talks to you about making sure that you are filling your cup. You are doing the things that you need to do for yourself so that you can sustain. Much like I tell you, y'all think y'all ready for that? Go over there and listen. And go over there and act right. Okay? All right, y'all. I'm gone for real. Let me go ahead. Y'all have an amazing, amazing